Perfect, perfect. All right. Well, Mr. David, I appreciate you hopping on with us. For anybody who's watching, this is a case study call where we basically interview pastors and talk about the Digital Tract Ministry and what the Lord's doing in their churches with the ministry. And this is really for pastors who, number one, want to learn more about the Digital Tract Ministry, but also are kind of skeptical, as far as just wondering if it even works or what it is. And so that's why we do these calls. So I want you to listen good and just listen to what the Lord's doing through Brother David and them's church. Um, so just to give a little background, Brother David, I'm gonna let you kind of actually give the background of yourself. Kind of who you are, what your church, where your church is, and everything. But Brother David, he has been with us for about a month and a half to almost 2 months, and he's going to talk a little bit about what the Lord's been doing the past 2 months in his church. But before we do, though, tell everybody who you are and where you're at, David.
Yeah, so my name's Dave Brunson. I pastor a church in Gwinnett County, small town called Decula, just now switching over to be called Mulberry. Our town is kind of splitting up. And it's a church plant that my wife and I started about 24 years ago in our home. And we've grown and progressively moved to a couple of places we were renting. And then in 2015, we bought about 13 acres
Amen.
up in the Decula Mulberry area. So it's kind of a new area for us, but we had to penetrate that area and really go after, reaching lost souls. And we were looking for a solution to help us, being a small church. One of the things is you don't have enough hands to do everything.
Yeah.
And technology that's out there, we tried to figure out how do we leverage technology to help us, with a marketing background, from corporate America that I recently retired from in July of 2025 after 41 years. It's
Amen.
like, I'm just going gung ho into this, everything I gave to corporate America, I'm giving that in some, to the kingdom of God. And so we looked at a couple of different solutions out there, and some of them were just too pricey. And researching them, I couldn't tell if it had the teeth to do what we wanted to do in terms of, in marketing, they say you knock on doors or you talk to somebody 7 times before they realize that you're serious.
Yeah.
And we needed something that had some teeth to it. And so what we started doing in our county, in our association, is we launched through our DM, Director of Missions for our association, a project called Saturate Gwinnett, where we're trying to take the gospel to every street, every home, and every person in our county in 2026. And we prototyped it and to launch in last August, trying to get all the bugs out for our whole association. And so looking at a number of different platforms, we I mean, it had to be God ordained is that we moved into GM Baptist Outreach, which seemed like it's been a godsend for us. Is that before we go out into a neighborhood, we launched the Digital Tract Ministry so that when we knock on a door, chances are the people have seen our ads on Facebook. And so it's more of, hey, my name's Dave. I'm right down the street, the church that's there. And, oh, yeah, I saw your ad. And
Yeah.
so it makes the conversation a little bit easier. And all we wanted to do was say, hey, how can I pray for you? And just that phrase alone will open the door. Very few people say, no, don't pray for me and leave the house.
Yeah.
Or it eases their mind that we're not with the Jehovah's Witnesses. We're not
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
here to fight and do a theological, calisthenic with you. We're just here to pray for you. And
Yeah.
so that's what we started doing, and we're training our people to do it. And it's just been amazing what we have seen. And I'll tell you, if you want me to go on into it, is that we did a 4 week every Sunday ad. Our strategy is to do about 4 of these a year. because when people start coming and joining your church, you got to make sure you got
And real
room.
quick, I just want to hop on here and tell you that GM Baptist Outreach is who sponsors this video. And I want to give you a brief description of who we are. So we help churches reach their communities and bring visitors in the doors of their church every single week with what's called the Digital Tract Ministry. And we're working with churches all across the country. We have 170 plus churches we're serving in rural areas, populated areas, also in 5 different countries around the world. And so it's amazing what God's doing with the Digital Tract Ministry, and we would love to help your church set this up as well. And so if you're curious about it and you want to know more about it and what it looks like set up for a church, you can find a demo video in the description of this video. You'll find a link to sign up for a demo video that walks you through the exact process of the Digital Tract Ministry. It also walks you through the financial side of things of what it looks like set up for a church. And so with that being said, super glad you're here. Sign up for that. Make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to allow us to put out a lot more valuable content for churches to help them with outreach and discipleship. So go ahead and enjoy the rest of the video, and we will see you on the other side.
To get them through baptized,
new
members, discipleship, and all that stuff is we pace it out. So we did our first 4-week in February. Training was in January, launched in February, and from the first week in February until the end of February, we had over 37 unique new faces coming to our ministry. Out of that, we had one person come and join, accept Christ during a worship service. And first Sunday, we do our baptism. So the first Sunday was last week in March. First Sunday in March, we did a baptism of that person. And we had 9 new faces that came that Sunday. And believe it or not, while we were doing the baptism, one young man came forward to be baptized and accept Christ that day. So right in the middle of baptism, this guy comes forward and we baptized him, and it was just electrifying. It was just amazing to see what God is doing. And we feel like this is a permanent part of our ministry, is to really penetrate our community. And we have an app that we use for Saturate Gwinnett. For every house, we can see if we shared the gospel, if we prayed for or prayed with if they weren't there, or if they accepted Christ. So we can see every house around our neighborhood, what the status of that house is. And it's just amazing. And we do follow-ups and that kind of stuff. So that's going to lead us into Easter. So we do every Sunday ad up till Easter. The month before Easter, we're doing an Easter ad. And where we do a sunrise service at 7 a.m. and then a regular service at 11 a.m. and continuing to penetrate our community. Easter is the biggest Sunday of Christian faith in the year, where people come out. You have CME Christians, Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. So we're capturing that event and trying to penetrate the gospel. So when we're knocking on doors on this one neighborhood behind us, we've been doing sunrise services since we bought this property, since 2015. And knocking on these doors right next to us. And when I introduced myself as, this is the church right next door to you, said, "Oh yeah, we remember you guys." Every Easter, we get up at 7 o'clock, go out on our porch or our deck, sip our coffee, and listen to your services. It's just to know that people have already been expecting it. It was just amazing. And it gave tremendous awareness. Our people are excited. And I'm going to do a second group of training because more people want to be involved in it. It's easy.
That's awesome. So just to kind of recap of everything you just said there, which is really awesome. So kind of to recap, how many weeks have y'all ran ads so far? About 5 weeks, you said?
It's about 4 weeks.
About 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
So 4 weeks, y'all have had 37 first-time visitors. That's
37
crazy.
first-time visitors. And when I say unique first-time visitors, because some of those visitors have come back. So I don't count them a second time. It's like the first Sunday we had 4, the second Sunday we had 10, then we had 14, then we had 9. But it's accumulating because those people are coming back, and it's other people that are unique visitors.
Building.
And this last Sunday, we had 9 people. One guy was He's clearly a solid guy. He wanted to come visit our ministry, just moved into the area and trying to find a church home for his family. And he says, I saw you online. I went over and looked at your website, listened to a couple of your sermons. He says, I wanted to come see if it was real. Because
Yeah.
next Sunday, this Sunday coming up, which is the second Sunday in March, he's coming back with his wife and six daughters,
Wow.
his sister and four other children to join the church. So on
Wow.
one Sunday, we're going to have an influx of
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
So at
And
some point, we're going to have to, I think we'll outgrow our building, and
yeah.
probably by April, we got to go to two services, we think, uh,
Yeah.
and then
Well, and
accelerate
that's
our building program. So,
yeah, and that's because one person saw your ad and it's going to produce probably like 10 or more members.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I can just imagine, because I pastor too. Like this past Sunday, at our church, we had I think 14 first-time visitors to our Sunday morning service, and I know just for our church that was just we were just excited,
Amazing.
everybody's excited, and I can just imagine your church seeing 37 visitors in the past month, like just like I can just you don't even have to describe it to me. Like I know your church is probably just electrified right now with momentum, just excitement of what the Lord's doing. So I can just just tell, like just I already know. I bet you're excited, and I bet your people are excited. And so out of the 37 so far, y'all seen two get saved though.
Yeah.
That's
Two get
cool.
saved
That's worth
in
it
our
all.
church, and knocking on doors, we had one get saved
Yeah,
in the community. So that was three total, which is
yeah.
amazing in a month. You got some churches don't see three in a year.
You right. Yeah. You got
Um,
some churches don't see 37 visitors in a whole year.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What is so that's really cool and that's super exciting. And I'm excited to see what y'all's Easter service does. Um, how much money, just so everybody knows transparency wise, so like obviously the digital track ministry costs money, you got to pay for your software and then pay for your ad spend. How much money as far as in the ad spend side of things, like how much did y'all spend for ads so far to see those results?
Yeah, so we did a 4 week ad, and we spent $100 a week, so about $400 is what we
Wow.
spent. And when you think about that, when I look at that, you get one family that joins and they become committed. You've
Yeah.
covered the cost already for that week, and so it's a no brainer to me. But
Yeah.
what it does for me is, because I'm always concerned about burning out our people, is that it gives a little bit more traction to their efforts. Is that when they knock on doors and when someone says, I saw your ad, and we spread out the videos between the people that are there, is that they're real faces.
Yeah.
And it's not just my face, it's other from people like me that's staff, and then we have some of our lay leaders, and then some of our just regular members will just give, they'll be a part of the video. They'll do a video so people can connect with them and know them and see them. And when they knock on the door, say, "Yeah, I saw you somewhere. It was a Facebook ad," and so that immediate connection
Yeah.
what helps us. So we put the Digital Tract Ministry with our boots on the ground, knocking on doors, which gives us credibility, and it helps us connect with the community.
For sure, yeah, and no doubt. And I tell pastors like this doesn't do away with physical outreach. Like you should still knock on doors if you do it. You should still give out tracts at the gas station. Like you should still, invite folks to church, tell people about Jesus, and do all of your other outreach methods. But yeah, this just enhances them.
Yeah.
You don't just see visitors from the digital tracts, the ads alone, but it also just creates a ripple effect in all of your other outreach. Because I've heard you say it a couple times how people just know you at the door. And yeah, I can't tell you how many times, like in our town, I'll be at the gas station or something, or I'll be like in a grocery store, and somebody's standing behind me, and they'll be like, "Do you pastor down the road?"
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Depends on what church you're talking about." And they would be like, "I think I saw you on the internet," and I'll be like, "Yeah, that was probably me." And but yeah, knocking on doors, people, yeah, they're like, "I saw you on Facebook," and it just turns a cold visit to a warm visit where they just feel like they know you. You're not a stranger. And
And one thing I want to say about the way you set up the software is that the Facebook ads are targeted to our area. It's not
yeah,
like it's all of Georgia, that
for
everybody in
sure.
the world can see it. is that the way it's done, it kind of does almost I want to call geofencing. So it's a targeted area where people are most likely to have driven by your church. And there's a couple of people that have come and they said that I've driven by your church many times and didn't realize that you were here. And then when I saw your digital track, your Facebook ad, it's just now it just made a connection. I saw your sign, but it's like it was invisible. They go by
Yeah.
all the time. And then now when they go by, I say, yeah, that's the church I saw on Facebook. And they're more likely
Yeah.
to turn in.
For sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just did a little bit of math there. $400 with the 37 visitors that came from your ads. If you took $400 divided by 37, that's like $10 a visitor. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I was thinking like, yeah, that's like if you could spend $10 to get one visitor in your church, like I'd spend $100 for a visitor,
All
to
day.
get one person to hear the gospel of Christ. But yeah, that's awesome. And just for full transparency for everybody watching, like this isn't always the case. It's not like you're gonna sign up for this and see the results like Brother David. Sometimes we see people run every Sunday ads, and they might see one, two, three visiting families a month. Special event ads, sometimes you'll see 20, 30 to one service, 40 to one service. We've seen 100 or to one service, but we've also seen where they just seen like 5 to 10 first-time visitors to one service. Even if it's just 5 to 10, y'all, it's still, these ads reach hundreds of people a day, and you're still seeing visitors in the church seeing the gospel of Christ. And just when you keep running these ads, like every now and then, God will give you a grand slam where you'll see a bunch of first-time visitors. And David, it just so happened his first month-long ad is a grand. The Lord's just really blessed it, and He might continue to do that for all of them. But I just want everybody to know that transparency. I don't want y'all to like sign up and then you don't see 30 some visitors and be discouraged. If you see 10, that's still a blessing.
Yeah.
Praise God. But one thing that I know, and just talking about you, Brother David, that I see even in you and what y'all are doing, and why I believe the Lord's blessing y'all's Digital Tract Ministry, is because you're taking it seriously. Most of the churches we see that run this ministry, and they actually set it up with a mindset of, you know what I mean? Like, we're going to do this to the fullest. We're going to pray over this. This is a part of our, like, we're going to reach people, saturate Jeanette, like y'all are doing. You're taking it seriously. And a lot of the churches we see don't succeed with this is the ones that say, we'll just, we'll throw one up, see if it works, and just you do like a fly by night video. They don't ever text anybody back. It's like they don't take it seriously. And I tell people all the time, it's like, man, y'all didn't even do it the way we showed you how to do it. It's like, do it the way we show you how to do it, and you'll succeed. It's more. Most of the times we see the people that take it seriously, like they're like and they pray over it, and they make it a sincere ministry in their church. Those are the ones that God normally does bless it, and I see that a lot in you with what you're doing. So that's awesome. I want to talk about this real quick because I know you just brought it up and you mentioned a little bit of it. But saturate. What'd you call it, Jeanette? I know
Gwinnett.
Jeanette. That's y'all's area. So tell us, just for everybody watching, just in case if they want to try that in their area, kind of the strategy of what you're doing. What does all that entail? Like, just for anybody watching that has heard you mention that and they want to know more details of what y'all are doing.
Yeah, so in our association, we have about 147 churches. Our executive director of missions, his name is Brian Parker. He came with a vision of taking the gospel to every street, every home, and every person. And we have been doing outreach in our church, but it didn't have enough teeth to it. And so we started last August trying to see what we could do to increase the effectiveness of it, working with Brian. And so we launched this project called Saturate Gwinnett, where all of our churches that want to be a part of it can come together. We developed an app for them to be able to use to help them identify the homes, places that they can knock on doors and just share the gospel. And it's really just, how can I pray for you? And that one phrase will open up the door for you to share the gospel.
Yeah.
It's been really effective. And so Brian and I put together some training materials where we trained our pastors that are interested in it. It's funny because even what we're doing with GM Baptist Outreach, we want to take that to our entire network. Next week, we've got a group of people coming in to do some missions work in our area. And part of that work is to take the gospel to the streets around one of our churches. And I'm going to go and meet with the pastor there. He and we're going to be like accountability partners, where I'm going to train his staff, and there'll be teams of two that are going to go in neighborhoods around his church, and he and I are going to pair up, and it's going to be life on life, one-on-one. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
Is For me, it's not just us doing it at our church. I believe, given the climate of the world, if you just think about what's going on in the world right now,
Yeah.
I think people, the temperature for sharing the gospel is at the right temperature. Is that he and I, along with a few of his other people, we're going to go to a neighborhood around his church, and we're going to knock on doors. So it's more important for me to leverage this across the kingdom, not
Yeah.
just that our church succeeds at it, but we're trying to push this to every church in our network, is to help them be successful. In our county, there's about 1 million people. So if you can imagine 147 churches taking the gospel to every street, every home, every person. At the end of the year, we've shared the gospel with over 1 million people.
Yeah.
There's not enough seats in churches today,
Yeah.
and what impact that would have on the kingdom. And so I'm delighted to have Brian as a friend, and this guy's just amazing with his vision to see how it's gonna impact Gwinnett County, and us working together to make this happen. And so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to not just doing this at our church, which is Trinity Life Church,
Yeah.
but other churches across our network, and to hear and see pastors call Brian or call me and say, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Hey, I'm we're going to meet next week. Let's get it done. Let's show you how to do it." And then to
Yeah.
see how, the thing about it is, when you put something like GM Baptist Outreach on top of what your outreach efforts are, it's like pumping it up with steroids.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's contagious, and it just lights a fire. And I'm telling you, when
Yeah.
people start seeing new faces come to your church, people accept Christ and get saved, and then you start filling up that baptism pool more on a regular basis, it's contagious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
uh, and that's what we're seeing. And to see that happen everywhere is going to be
Yeah.
awesome for us to see.
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah. Well, we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to working with more people in y'all association, helping y'all reach, y'all's communities. You mentioned a statement, and it doesn't have anything to, I guess it does have everything to do with it, but you mentioned just in y'all's area how there's, 1 million people if y'all do it all consistently, between all of your churches and everything. And it just got me, it just crossed my mind, and I've always said this, but I do think people have lost the reality of just how many sinners there are out there. You know what I mean? Like, you hear people say, like I've had even people say, even with the Digital Tract Ministry, just for an example, they're like, they'll say, well, if someone else in our town's doing it, I don't want it to be overkill. I'm like, you got 200,000 people in your town. There's enough sinners out there. I'm telling you, it don't matter if every single church in the area was, you know,
There's
and
not enough seats in the current inventory of churches to house all those people.
there's so many people, and we're in like a small community, like 1,500 people in our town, 16,000 in our whole county. Maybe like that's like a 23-mile radius, and it's just a bunch of woods out here, and we have like 5 huge churches or 5 huge Baptist churches just in our county, and it's like one of those things to where like there's still so many people we knock on doors that say we don't go to church. It's like there's just so many people out in the world that I think we've lost that train of thought that it's not that everybody don't want God anymore or don't want church. There's still plenty of people out there. You just got to reach them. There's just plenty out there, and
Well, when you look at the survey of what Digital Outreach Ministry does, is one of the questions is, have you ever been to church before?
yeah,
And the majority of the answers that we have seen
yep,
is no, they've never been to church before.
yeah,
And I'm going like, wow. I mean, that was eye-opening to see how many responses. Is this the first time you've been to church?
yeah,
And they say, yes, this is my very first time I've been to church. It just opened my eyes to the vast lostness
yeah.
that's out there.
Oh, America is one of the biggest mission fields now. I just to piggyback off what you just said, we have a young guy that just got saved last week, 26-year-old man. Him and his wife have been visiting our church the past 3 weeks, and he got saved last week. And I started doing a one-on-one discipleship course with him. But here's when we were talking, here's one thing that he had mentioned. He's wanting to read through the Bible from Genesis. He said because he doesn't even know, like when we mention Abraham, he don't even know who that is.
Wow.
And like when you talking about Noah and the ark, he just finished Genesis, that chapter where it gets through Noah and the ark, and he started talking about like just with excitement, like it's just it's crazy how like all that like happened. He started describing different things about Noah and the ark. It's because it's like like we think everybody knows that stuff,
They
but you'll
don't.
be amazed at the people who don't know some of that stuff. All of this stuff, some stuff is new to them. The Bible, not everybody grew up in church these days. And so yeah, just to come off of what you said, like, and that's what gets me when I listen to some preachers. Like sometimes I've seen them preach or like, it's almost like, they're trying to reach people that believe just like them in their community. It's like, no, there's a lot of people who don't know what they
They
believe. They're
have
lost.
no
They didn't go to
idea what
church. A
you're
lot of
talking
people,
about.
they don't know what you're talking about. And you know what I mean? And I know I've seen churches and y'all, I hope that your church, I don't think I'm knocking you if your church is like this, but I've seen some churches, they'll have on their sign, we are this type of church, like pre-millennial, all those different things. I
Yeah.
agree with all that. That's good. But my goodness, a lost sinner driving by, I don't know what that means.
He
No,
has no idea what they probably can't even pronounce it.
yeah, who are you trying to reach? You trying to reach another Christian down the road to leave their church and come to yours? Or are you trying to reach a sinner? Like you're supposed to teach these people this stuff, but like, they don't know that stuff. And so it's comical to me sometimes when I see that because it's like who are you trying to reach in your community? Because a lot of people in your community, if you're trying to reach sinners, they don't even know what that is. And
Yeah.
yeah, and so it is amazing though. It just makes you more excited about the opportunity of reaching people. And so anyways, but yeah, that's awesome. Um, so as far as that goes, super exciting what the Lord's doing in your church and everything. And with, saturate Jeanette and everything.
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Jeanette?
Gwinnett.
Gwinnett. Okay. Saturate Gwinnett. And we're looking forward to seeing what y'all do moving forward and with Easter and everything. So we'll kind of wrap it up with this. We normally like to ask a question. I know you didn't mention this. So like for churches watching different things, like what was your experience when you first signed up with us? Like, I know a lot of pastors say they're skeptical when they first sign up. They don't know if it's going to work or not. I know you said you've researched a little bit, so you may have a little bit of a different experience. But like, from the time before you signed up to now, do you think the digital outreach piece is very important? I already know your answer because I know you've done said how it's blessed your church. But are you glad you took that step? Like, do you think it's a big deal, like in this day and hour, for churches to do something like this, even if it's not with us, even if it's just doing digital outreach? Do you think it's something that's very needed today?
I think it is. I will tell you when we first signed up, um, I was actually going to sign up with another organization. They were very expensive. And I'm a stickler when it comes to if you keep an appointment, if you set an appointment, you keep the appointment. And I think it was a God thing.
Yeah,
When I was supposed to have my first interview with the person, they didn't show up. Didn't even give me an email saying they weren't going to show up.
wow.
That at the last minute they're going to change it. So I said, okay, I haven't paid any money, and I'm like, man, I'm real skeptical. Is this how it's gonna be?
Yeah,
And then your ad came up. It's amazing. You talk about something long enough, Google probably listens, and
it does. Yeah,
so your ad came up, and I looked at it, and I started looking at all of your YouTube videos. I even typed in Google all the churches that you were talking about that I saw on videos, and I could see that there were real churches around. And so I did about 3 or 4 weeks,
yeah,
and then I set up for us to get onboarded, and you were responsive right on time.
yeah,
I send a text message or request to talk to someone. It was like right away I was getting responses. And I'm going like, okay, I can deal with this. I
yeah,
know I'm probably corporate America driven when it comes to meetings and stuff, but it's a stickler for me. If
yeah,
you say something, you do it and you follow up. And so that was a big thing for me. And I noticed that when we started engaging, is a responsiveness. Someone is there to reply back. And when they say they're going to call you, they called you. And then once we got our onboarding done, went through the training, set up the first every Sunday ad. I mean, it launched exactly when you said it was going to launch. Everything started coming into place. The beautiful part of it is, even though the first week we saw 4 people in the software, we could see all the people that had been reached, and they were real people,
Yeah.
which meant a lot to us. Is to see if it's going to have some grit and some teeth to it, and so that was a good experience for us.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
awesome.
actually took our entire membership and put them in to Georgia Baptist, GM Baptist outreach so that I can create automations that you and I talked about,
Yeah.
go even further to follow up with our people. And that just meant a lot to me. So,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and just to kick any pastor watching right now, just because you said that, it opened the door for me to do this. Please don't book a call with us if you're not going to show. I can't tell you how many times pastors have booked calls, and I'm like, this sorry stinking joker. And I've even texted them asking if they're still out. I'm like, just at least tell me something came up. You can't show up or something like. But yeah, they'll just ghost you sometimes. I'm like, come on, man, have a little bit more integrity than that. If you're gonna book a call, please just tell us if you ain't gonna show. That's fine. Don't. Hey, I ain't got to waste my time either. That's perfectly fine. Um,
that's kind of where I am, you know.
yeah, hey, I agree though. Thank you for saying that. Now I can kick some people. Um, when it comes to what you had just said though, that I wanted to mention because you said something about gosh, what did you just say? Oh, about your automations. This isn't even supposed to be on the demo video or the case study video, but did Chase ever get with you yet on those automations?
Not yet.
Okay.
I know he's probably working on it. So,
I messaged him yesterday. We talked about it. I know it was late in the day, so he may have not. I know today he's been swamped this morning, but I'll make sure to touch base with him, make sure he gets with you on that. So,
okay.
but anyways, all right, brother. Well, any last words before we go?
My only thing is, if you're gonna do it, for me as a leader, as a senior pastor, I'm going to be boots on the ground, hands on with my people
Yeah,
until they understand how serious it is, and that they know that from the very top of our leadership that I'm involved with this. It's evangelism is the core of what we've been called to do, to share the gospel,
yeah,
hedges and highways. And if your people see you serious about doing it, they will adopt that same attitude. And our church is just on fire.
yeah,
I'm paired up with someone and I'm knocking on doors with them. I'm down in the streets
yeah.
with them. And it's paying dividends and we're excited about it.
Amen. Yeah, that's great advice. People take serious what you take serious. It rises and falls on leadership. It really does.
Yeah.
I've noticed it in our own ministry. If I ever don't take something too seriously, like not necessarily outreach, but just anything else, nobody else does either. And so yeah, to take it seriously.
Yeah.
Anyways, brother David, I appreciate you hopping on, brother. I've enjoyed it, and I enjoy your fellowship. I think I just like you as a person, to be honest. And so I
You're
enjoy
down in
talking.
South Georgia. We're gonna get together one of these days. I
We
told
need to.
Brian we got to get you up, man. It's I think it's exciting to see tools like this
Yeah.
can really help churches be more
Yeah.
effective.
Well, I go up there and preach at Trenton, Georgia, sometimes right there I go through Atlanta. It's like northwest Georgia, like about 30 minutes out of Chattanooga. I know that's probably a couple hours from you.
Yeah,
But if I ever go up that way, we need to meet for lunch or something. Try and meet like halfway for lunch or something.
can
So,
make it happen. Yeah.
yeah. Sounds good, man. Well, appreciate you hopping on and we'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.